2 plus 2 does not equal 4. No, sir. It equals approximately 8.5. I'll explain that in just a minute. Well, I'm sure some of you are scratching your head about that funny math. Government math is what I call it. It has to do with geometry. When anything geometrical is involved, my brain, well, it just falls asleep. I don't do good with angles. That's what's going on with what we did here. I thought I dropped it 4 inches, but I dropped it 8 actually. You know, we did 2 on the spacers and 2 on the spring bucket. You would think that would be a 4-inch drop, and it is right there. But out here where the A-arm attaches to the frame, it's actually 8 inches, a little more. Let me show you. Let me get up in here real close and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This bottom A-arm is a lever, basically. This over here is your fulcrum, meaning that's where it swivels and pivots. This will never change. And then you got this point over here that's attached to the frame, and then you got this point here where your spring is. Levers, well, it goes back to the steering. We talked about the bump steer, the arc, that 2 different levers basically will be traveling. That's the same thing going on here, except these are on the same bar, the same lever. This and this are going to travel at the same speed when it swings through its arc. Well, this one has to move faster, if you will, than this one because it's out here doing a bigger circle. I wish I had a blackboard. I'd show y'all. I'm gonna make a blackboard eventually. Anyway, that's what's going on. I lowered it 4 here, but right here is where you actually need to measure because it's attached to the frame, and that's what you're wanting to lower is the frame and the body. So well, like I said, I lowered it 4 here because we did 2 inches on the spacers, 2 inches on that bucket. That equals 4 inches right here, but out here it doubled it. I'll prove it to you. Let me get up off my knees because it's hurting me, and then I'll show you. I got the front end jacked up with the jack. It's sitting about where it was before I lowered it. I forgot to measure, by the way. I should have measured the end of the frame here before I lowered it. Well, I just forgot. Y'all know I ain't got no memory. But I do know it was sitting there because I knew the space right here. I could get a finger in there, and that's about it. So it's sitting about where it was. Let me get the tape out. We're gonna measure the end of that frame. And then there's 2 points I want to measure on the A-arm. And then we'll do some math. I already got my tape measure out. And right there at the top of that frame, we're at 21 inches. I got a mark that's approximately center line of this spring right here. And then we want to measure right here too, where it's attached to the frame. Right here we got 7 1/8 approximately. And then over here we got 12 5/8, the center of that grease fit in there. Yeah. All right, let me write them down, and then I'm gonna let this down, and we'll do some math. Going down. All right, now that we're down, remember this is the pivot point, the fulcrum. It doesn't change. So let's measure right here. We got approximately 3 3/8, I'd say. Yep. Then over here, we got approximately 4 1/2 right there at the grease fit. Let me go do, oh wait a minute, we gotta measure the end of the frame. Hang on. We got approximately 12 1/2 there. Let's go do some maths and let's see how much we actually dropped it. Here are the maths on the old geometrical stuff that we're dealing with right now. This is the center line of the spring, basically. At stock ride height, it was 7 1/8. We dropped it down to that, meaning we dropped that area 3 3/4. Remember, I was going for 4? We were pretty close, but wait, there's more. Here is the end of the frame. At stock ride height 21. We dropped it down to 12 1/2, meaning we actually dropped the front of this car 8 1/2 inches. Yes, sir, that's quite a bit. This is the end of the arm where the grease fitting is. It's attached to the cross member out here. That's stock ride height. That's what we dropped it to. We dropped it 8 1/8 inches. Yes, sir, we did. Not a 4-inch, but an 8-inch drop on the front of this car. Yes, sir. When I let this down off the jack the first time, y'all probably heard me. I was like, wow, this ain't right. This is no. And that's why, because we dropped it twice as much as I wanted to. And it's all due to arcs, levers, radiuses, geometry basically is, what it is. Me and geometry don't get along. And I knew there was going to be some of that, but I had no idea that it would, whatever I dropped it here at the spring would double it out here, but it sure did. Look at how long that A-arm is now. Yeah, I see it doing that. Well, I'll tell you what, let me find me a piece of cardboard. I'm going to draw y'all a lever and try to explain a little bit better what happened. All right, here's my very crude drawing. This is the bottom A-arm. This is the fulcrum. This is where it connects to the spindle support. It's fixed, it does not move. That's where it pivots. Here's the coil spring. Here's where it's attached to the cross member. This is what actually raises, well, this helps too, but this is what actually raises the vehicle. Man, hear that wind? It's rattling them doors pretty bad. Anyway, this, well, it's a lever, and it's also travels on an arc. Since they are fixed on the same arm, they have to travel together. Well, let's just say, this here's traveling in this arc right here. This one's traveling in this arc here. Well, this one has to travel faster to keep up with this one because they are on the same bar. Meaning, this one is going to travel further than this one. If this one moves 1 inch, well, this one's got to move more. And we know now it's about double. 1 inch here, 2 inch here. That's what happened. It's levers, arcs, geometry. Like I told y'all, my brain falls asleep when it comes to stuff like that. Anyway, yes, we lowered the front end over 8 inches. And I love the way it looks. And if it wasn't for not having enough suspension travel, I'd leave it, but we can't have that. You see the A-arm. You see the A-arm right here is hitting right under there. We can't have that. Ain't got no suspension travel. So what we're probably gonna do is take the 2-inch spacers out. That'll raise it up 4 inches, and that'll get me about where I want it to be on my 4-inch drop. Let me say this too. I know there's not a lot of clearance on that spring pocket. Some of y'all worried, you're gonna bottom out on speed bumps. So that's not possible unless I'm going parallel. Say there's a speed bump right here. Your tires are gonna keep you from scrubbing on the speed bump. Now you might drag out here in the middle, and it will drag. If this tire falls off in a pothole, yeah, there's a chance that could drag. But let me tell you something. My S10, maybe some of y'all have never lowered vehicles and you just don't know this, but my S10, I lowered it 15 plus years ago. 4-inch blocks at the back, drop spindles and springs in the front. I believe it went 3 in the front, 4 in the back. And if y'all think this is, small clearances, let me tell you, you don't want to look under my S10. Normally there's a cross member in the middle. Normally that's the only thing I bottom out on because it's got maybe 2 inches, 2.5 inches of clearance. Like I said, 15 years I've been driving it daily. And every once in a while I'll drag on that going in a driveway or somewhere like that. Oh, that is, it's no problem. I do love the way it looks. And eventually we'll probably go this low, but with a different front end. Which brings me to another point. I know y'all tired of hearing me talk, but let me tell you this. Some of you don't understand, well, why did you go through this trouble? Then you say this, you're going to change the whole front end eventually. Do y'all know what this cost me to do this? The steel for the spacers and the grade 8 bolts cost me maybe $40. And there was just no work involved. I know some of y'all think that I worked myself to death trying to get those rivets out. No, it's just swinging a hammer. There ain't nothing to that. Anyway, just about $40 to lower this. Well, maybe some of y'all don't know what the channel's about. Let me go ahead and tell you that. What we do here, we use what we got. We make stuff. We don't buy kits. We don't buy parts just to bolter. I'm not a part bolter owner. Sometimes you have to do that, but If I can make the parts myself, modify myself, that's what I'm gonna do. Save you a lot of money, plus I just enjoy doing it. Anyway, let me get these spacers took out, and then we'll measure again and see if that's, got me close to my 4 inches. All right, let's see if we can get this mess sorted out. Wait a minute. All right, get these bolts out of the way real quick. I gotta get my shorter bolts. Oh yeah. Spacers have been removed. Let's see what she looks like now. I'll be honest with you, I don't like the looks of this at all. If you go by this bottom body line, she's setting up in the front. It needs to go down, I'm gonna say a couple inches, yes sir. I don't like the looks of this at all. We can cut those spacers in half, and that'll give us, 2 more inches of drop. We may do that. Not right now. But before the end of the video, we may do that. The only thing I'm worried about is suspension travel. We got probably 5 inches right now. So if we drop it down 2 more inches, that'll give us 3 inches. And that's, that's probably cutting it close. We'll just have to experiment and see, what happens. This is hot rodding, fellers. Doing stuff, see if it works. If it don't, you change it. If it does, great. Back in, 50s and 60s during the hot rodding craze, the beginning of it, they didn't have no Summit, no Jigs, no O'Reilly's, no Amazon. They didn't just order parts and bolt them on. They had to make them or modify them. That's what I love to do. That's what we do here. So we may experiment with that here for too long. Let me say this too. Some of y'all, for whatever reason, think what I'm doing here is dangerous, and I'm trying to figure out why. I really don't know why, other than those long bolts that I had holding the spacers. Well, let's just get one and look at it. Here it is right here. That's it right there. That's the only thing I can think of you're talking about. You're afraid maybe that bolt will break from, twisting and side load. Well, that part of the suspension never sees side load. Your side loading handled by your upper and lower control arm. That plate and those bolts, no sir, all it's doing is holding the weight of the vehicle. That's it. Grade 8 bolts, 150,000 PSI tensile strength, meaning stretch before they break. That's quite a bit of strength. What we're doing here is, I promise you, it's just fine and dandly. We might put the spacers on before the end of the video, but the rest of this video, I would like to go front to back and do all the little knick-knack bullcrap that I've been putting off. That's the stuff I hate. The big stuff, I don't mind doing it. It's that little stuff that just gets on your nerves. You got to do it, but you keep putting it off. Well, I put it off long enough, we can't wait no more. So I think tomorrow we'll start right here, get the power steering bracket fixed, and then, it's just all kind of little stuff we got to do. But I believe that's where we'll start. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Till the next day, we got to get busy on the old knick-knack bullcrap stuff. But before we do, we forgot to measure our frames, how much we raised it up last night. So let us see. We got, what is that, 16 3/8. We were at 12 1/2, so that's almost 4 inches. That's, about what we expected. We're gonna leave it like this for now. Probably gonna put 1 inch spacers back, but I gotta have some different length bolts. This is Saturday, they're not open, so we'll have to wait till Monday. Let us get busy on the knick-knack bullcrap. I think what we're gonna start on first, power steering pump. Let me get my little adjuster arm and I'll show you what we're gonna do. Let's do a little recap on what the issue is with this power steering bracket. I found me a belt to go on here just for illustrative purposes. But you can see right here, the belt is going to hit that bolt. Can't have that. And the adjuster arm, it came off of the water pump over here, well, down in here. I've done straightened it out. It was bent because we're going to reuse this. But it was right in the way here. The belt was going to hit it. We can't have that. Here's how we're going to fix it. I'm going to use this same bracket, but we're going to pull these bolts out. I'm going to countersink the holes in this plate. We're going to use flathead bolts here. That should be fine for that. And then the adjuster arm, we're going to come around behind. Let me get over here. We're going to come around behind. I'm going to bolt this arm down here to the back plate, and then there's the adjuster stud it goes on. I think that'll work. I already got stuff marked, so let me get it apart, drill and countersink holes, and I think it'll work. We'll see in just a minute. I will apologize for the noise. The heater just came on, but it's pretty chilly out, and well, the next few days are going to be really cold here. We are getting single-digit lows next week. It's going to be a little chilly, so I got to run me some heat. This countersink is really, really dull. All right, let me do that other one. Then we got to drill and tap a hole in the other plate. We got to drill a hole in the adjuster arm for the bolt to go through. Now, I need to cut her off about right there. My grinding wheel has got a groove in the middle of it. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. And I'm trying to grind on this side, and then on this side, trying to flatten it back out. I don't have a stone dresser. It makes it a little aggravating to try to grind something. The bolt store didn't have any flathead bolts long enough. So I had to order some from McMaster Car. Hopefully they'll be here about Tuesday. They're usually pretty quick about their shipping. So as soon as we get them, we'll put them on here. But for now, these old ones will do. I just want to check and see if our adjuster is going to work right. If I can ever get this here bolt to start. Let's get this adjuster arm in place and see if it'll let me move it and adjust it for different belt sizes. Well, something's hitting, but it ain't. Oh, I see what it is. My bolt on the bottom is sticking through too far, so let me grind it off just a wee bit. All right, I think, yes, sir, I believe that's going to work. Look here. We got all kind of movement here now. Yes, sir. Well, there's the adjuster bracket in the back. And she's moving just fine and dandly. I think we got that figured out once I get my flathead bolts to take care of this bolt head problem. Well, I got to go sometime. We may do it today. Get us some rope and see if we can get some measurements for some belts. Next, I think, let's work on the PCV system. I got an idea for that. I found this grommet in the cabinet. I found this PCV valve in the cabinet. We're going to put this in here, and this grommet is going to fit down in this hole right here. That's where the road draft tube used to go. It's a little big, so let me grind it down a little bit till it fits, and then we'll have that problem solved. Got her ground down. Let's see what fit. Oh yeah, ta-da! What I'll do is just run a hose from here to, well, I got a port here, got a port there, or one in the old carburetor I think that'll be just fine and dandly. I need to get this filler neck here. Let's go over here and see if we can get it out of this old intake. I ran out of diesels. Yes, sir. It's too cold to be without heat, so I had to run and get some. I use this little transfer pump right here. It is both handy and dandy. It's a whole lot better than holding that jug upside down, pouring it in that tank. You get them at Harbor Freight. I think they take like 1 or 2 D batteries. Very handy and dandy. By the way, our Harbor Freight shut down. The rumor is they're remodeling, but I mean, they've been shut down for a pretty good while. I hope they open back up. I don't go there a whole lot, but when you need something from there, it's pretty handy. Anyway, let's get this filled up. We'll get back on the old Forte. Well, I got the filler neck, but it's really rough looking. I don't want to put it on that pretty motor. So I will get online after a while, see if we can find one of these. Maybe chrome, we'll just see. But the way this is going to work, this will stick in this hole right here. And this is basically a breather. You can see the little filter material there. We'll suck air in here. It'll go all through here and then come out the PCV valve. And, well, when I put this intake on, I meant to put that little canister in there in the lifter valley. Well, I forgot. It basically separates the oil from the air, and it keeps you from sucking a bunch of oil in the carburetor and the motor, burning it and all that. We're burning enough oil as it is. So since I forgot to put that, I made a catch can for the Trans Am many moons ago. If I can find it, we may mount it on the firewall somewhere right here, and it'll come from the PCV catch can, from the catch can over to whatever port we're going to go to. Might do that, but I'll see about getting one of them tonight. What are we going to do next? I ain't sure. What if we look at the slave cylinder for the clutch? Where is my mount? You remember I made a bracket for the other one, but we've switched bell housings. I don't think it's going to work. May have to make a whole new bracket. Let me go find it somewhere. I found it. It might work. I just stuck it in here and looked at it. You can see right here. Well, let me get this out of the way and I'll show you. We got one of the holes we can put there. And then I think this bell housing bolt down here, it will hit in this area here. I think maybe if we cut it along here, bend it, that one will go there. Then we'll have to drill one for this one up here. Let's try it, just see what it does. I'm gonna put it in my brake press right here and bend it over a little bit. Can't do that. Tell you what, let me take that off, get it out of the way. Well, that ain't doing right. Let me give me a punch. Hit it right here. It's a little bit cockeyed. It might work though. Let me stick it on there and see. I believe we can make it work. Here's the little tab that I just bent over. I got to slot this hole that way, and we got to extend this a little bit and weld a piece on, drill a hole in it. I think it'll work. Let me get this slotted out real quick. All right, let's try that out. Got her bolted up and tightened up, and that worked. Now, see, here's the hole that I was going to use right here. So what we're going to have to do is add us a piece of metal up here, and then well, you can see right here, this is the original bolt holes on this here, and it's, I don't know if y'all can see that or not, it's sort of misaligned. So we may slot this top hole right here, that way we can bring her on around here and line that push rod up a little bit better with the clutch fork. I do believe that'll work, so let me cut me a piece of metal, weld it up here first. Let me show y'all this little tip real quick. If you're welding two pieces of metal together and you want to grind the weld away, you know, to make it look smooth, always leave you a little gap there. That way, when you grind the weld away, you'll still have weld in between the metal. If you just butt them up and weld it, well, you're liable to not get good penetration. You grind the weld away and it may break off. So always leave you a little gap. Had to make me a transfer punch. That's it right there. Let me tighten this up, get it lined up, whack it with a hammer, take it off and drill that hole. I think we'll be done. Well, there it is. I finally got it done, or at least this portion of it. I went ahead and slotted this top hole so I could tilt that over and get that in line with the clutch fork a little bit better. Next, we got to make us a push rod. And I think I want some adjustment on it, push rod. So I'm going to drill a hole through that clutch fork. That way I can stick my rod through there, and then I'll have me a nut on this side, you know, for adjustment purposes. So let me pull this back off, drill a hole, and I'll get me a push rod made out of probably just an old bolt. Here's what I have come up with. 3/8 bolt. This one here is just perfect. Cut the head off. Round this in to fit inside here. I drilled me a hole in my clutch fork. I need to get a nut and grind the end of it off, you know, because that's like a ball and socket type thing. Grind the end of it, that nut where it'll fit in there, where it's rounded, you know, where it won't be digging in so bad. And I believe we'll have it, so let us get that done. Ooh, it's hot. I just got two nuts jammed together. We're gonna put her right here on the grinder, spin that right there. We're gonna roundy round it. Let's see what that does. Clutch slave cylinder is done. There's my little adjuster, and we got us some play. Let me get it down in there where you can see it. Maybe you can see it, I don't know. So you got a little bit of play there we can work with. As it wears, I'll adjust them nuts. That'll work just fine and dandy. I need to pull this back off. I want to paint the slave cylinder silver, same color as this. And that bracket, we'll probably paint it black. I'll do that after a while. I think what we're gonna do now, I don't have a hose to put on that. I gotta get in the house tonight and see if I can find one that'll work, and I'll order it. I think what we'll do now is let's fix our firewall flexing when we hit the brakes. Well, let me get some light in here first, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. If you recall, when I hit the brakes, the firewall flexes. Well, you watch that. Watch right here. The pedal assembly, watch it bend. See it moving? We can't have that. So what I'm gonna do, give me a piece of metal. I'm gonna put it on top of this pedal assembly. We're gonna come here to under the dash, drills a hole, bolt it, drills a hole, bolt it on either side of the pedal assembly. I think that'll take care of that problem. Let me see if I got any metal to do that with firstly. Found me some metal. It's just barely long enough. That's all that matters. Let me cut it here, let me cut it here. Drill a hole, drill a hole, drill a hole, drill a hole. Got to put just a little bit of a crook on either end. I think we'll have it. Alright, what I'm doing now, I'm eyeballing where this is going to go. Probably about right there. Clamper in place so I can give me a punch mark where I got to drill my hole. Oh, to do, doggy! Alright, let me drill them holes out. Alright, now I need to figure out how I'm going to bend them, and then got to heat them up with a torch, I imagine. Let me figure that out. I'll be back. Got it set up in my brake press right here. Let's see if it'll bend without heating it up. Ooh! All right, let me put this under there and see what we need on this end right here. All right, back in the brake press we go. I think I got my mark where I want it. But if this don't work, you know what? We'll straighten it out and do it again. All right, let's try that. Pretty close, but this end, we need to flatten it out just a little bit. Let me try that. Alright, let me get this hole drilled out here. I gotta go get my drill bit, darn it. Alright. Hey, what happened right then? The door hit y'all. I am so sorry about that. Well, there's one. Let me get this other done real quick. Well, I got that done. There they are right there. There's one. There's the other one right there. It's still got some flex in it. Let me mash the pedal. Y'all watch it. I don't know if you can see it or not. It ain't a whole lot, but it's still got some. What I might end up doing, once we get the steering column fastened up here, I might come down from here to here, weld it here, bolt it here. That way I can get it apart. And hopefully that'll take all of it out. Might do that, might not. I don't know, depends on how I feel. I think I'm gonna call it a day, but we did get a little bit of knick-knack bullcrap done. Still got a whole lot more to do though. Yes, sir, we sure do. Tomorrow is Sunday. Sunday's a day of rest. That's what I plan on doing. I suggest you do the same. See y'all Monday. It's really, really cold here in Tennessee today. My thermometer, she's about 15 degrees off. It's actually 10 degrees outside. Y'all look at the snow we got. Oh yeah, it's still coming down. We got probably 3 to 4 inches. That's quite a bit for us here in Tennessee. Very chilly, yes. My old heater, we're gonna see how good my insulation is. My door's not being insulated, plus the big gap at the top of them ain't helping. But we'll see how good this little feller does today, because like I said, it's 10 degrees. Yes, sir. Let it warm up in here a little bit, and I gotta go fill up the fiery dragon because she's about out of Earl. Once I get that done, we'll try to do something on the old Forte. I just thought I'd show y'all the new way I'm trying to fill up my tank here. It's a hose pipe. It's too small. My pump, you know, I'm gonna keep my oil in the garage, in the barrel. The pump is, well, it can't hardly pump it through this small line. So I got the suction valve dang near closed off completely to where it ain't pumping much oil, but it is pumping it. Oh yeah, 10-degree weather. She's pumping. Let me pull this out and I'll show you. It ain't a big stream, but it is pumping it. Oh yeah. It'll probably take, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes to fill this up. It's a lot better than fooling with all them 2.5 gallon jugs. Yes, sir, it sure is. Anyway, as soon as I get this filled up, get it fired back up, we'll go in the garage and work on the old 40. There's a Fiery Dragon though, in case y'all don't know. I got, I don't know how many videos, 3 or 4 on it. It'll be in my playlist. Go check it out. I just thought I'd show y'all how far we are from the garage. It's probably 150 feet. And you know, using, what is hose pipe? 5/8 inside diameter. And the old pump is pumping it that far. Like I said, 10 degrees. That ain't bad. I believe if I get a little bit bigger hose, we may try that next year. Anyway, let me get this filled up. For those who are interested, it's been about 30 minutes. We have went from 10 degrees to, it's about 48. That ain't too bad. I got my ladder set up though. I'm fixing to put my brushes across the gaps. Well, you can see the light right there shining through. Put my brushes up. Well, here they are right here. I'll show y'all a little bit. I'm still waiting on the Fiery Dragon to get filled up. It's going kind of slow. I might do a little modifying to my hose, but anyway, once the Fiery Dragon gets done, I'm gonna put them brushes across the top of the doors. I stop that airflow anyway, and then eventually we got to get these insulated. But that's not bad, I don't think. 30 minutes. We've come up, let's say 40 degrees. That ain't bad. Anyway, let me get all this stuff done, and we'll do something on the old 40. Fiery Dragon is breathing heavy once again. We got 151 degree water temps. It usually runs 150 to 160. Took about 35 minutes to fill that up. That's a little excessive. So I got to get me a different hose. Something that's about 1 inch in diameter, but you can roll up easily. That's why I got this. Well, it was cheap, easily available, easy to roll up this spring when I get done using it. I'll have to get online and see what I can find. Got to run to the store, get me some diesels, because if I won't be out there in the shop 6-8 hours a day, I guarantee I'm gonna run through the fuel. Let me go do that. Well, I'm back in the shop. I got me some fuels. I almost ran out of gas in the truck. I went to one store and they were closed due to weather. So I had to go the opposite direction. Anyway, I got my diesels and I got my fuels in the truck. Stopped and checked on Mama, made sure she had plenty of heat. We're fixing to put these brushes up here. Here they are right here. They're pretty simple. You got this track here, and then the brush slides in and out of that track. You want to overlap them like that, or at least that's what they tell me online. You're supposed to put them up and down the sides here too, on the outside, because there's a little bit of wind. I can feel it coming in, so we're gonna have to get some of them too. But right now, you know, we got probably a 2-inch gap up there. Well, let's just go up there and look at it. All right, here's my gap. See right there, she's probably, it's at least 2 inches. I got my brush right here. Basically, that's all it does. Just butts up against the door, stops the airflow. I don't feel any air coming in, so it may be sucking our heat out. Either way, let me get them put up and maybe that'll help us out a little bit. There's one done. There's a little bit of gap on either end. I don't know what you do about that. Maybe the side brushes will take care of that. I don't know. Anyway, that's got to be a lot better than what we was doing. That'll block some cold wind at least. Let me get this side over here done. Brushes are done. I'm glad to get that done. That should help us out on the wind anyway. Like I said, I got to get some for the sides too, because I can feel quite a bit of air coming around that. The heater, about the time I started recording, it come back on. It took it about an hour. We went from 10 degrees to 60. That ain't bad considering everything in here is 10 degrees. Plus it's quite a bit of volume. Yes, sir. It's probably 20, 21 foot to the top there. Anyway, we need to get working on this 40. I've spent half the day just doing knick-knack bullcrap. But before we start on this, there's something I want to say. Know-it-alls. Well, I call you expert know-it-all. I would have done it this wayers. There's a lot of y'all out there. Last week when we lowered the front of this old car, it brought y'all out of the woodwork a little bit. You're getting a little brazen and a little bold. Some of you are smarties, and those you get blocked immediately. And then some of you use thinly veiled insults to basically call me dumb, and well, I just ain't gonna put up with it. I've been accused of being a know-it-all myself, or I have to be right, or no. This is my channel, fellers. This is my vehicle. I'm going to do it the way I want to. I've told y'all before. I'm going to do it my way. It's not the only way. I've never said it was. Might not even be the right way, but it's the way I'm going to do it. So you might as well just get used to that. I do read all the comments. Used to, I would ignore you. But like I said, you're becoming a little more brazen and bold. So I thought, well, let's engage them and just see. Because I can't understand the mentality of, if I don't do it your way, it's wrong. And trust me, the interwebs, everything I've done to this car has been wrong to somebody. And you just have to ignore that stuff. When I watch a video, I'm watching it for entertainment and or educational purposes. If they don't do it the way I would have done it, I don't think nothing else about it. Sometimes I think, I'd have never thought of that. That's not bad. And I might use it. But like I said, I have started engaging some of y'all. Well, what's my solution? You know, if this is wrong, what should I do? Well, then I get accused of attacking you because you're telling me I'm wrong. I just don't understand that mentality at all. Well, here's some things. This one's simple, but it just goes along with what I'm saying. Them seats are wrong. I wouldn't have got them seats. Okay, well, don't get those seats if you don't like them. Don't put them in your vehicle. They're very comfortable, by the way, but if you don't like them, don't get them. I don't like lower vehicles. I would have never done that. That's stupid. That looks dumb. Okay, don't do that. You do your vehicle like you want to, and I'll do it like mine like I want to. Some of you told me that the front end is a dangerous mess. It's a death trap. The steering and everything, you need to rip it all. It's all wrong. Rip it all out and start over. I'm still trying to figure out what's wrong with that. And I will engage you and I'll ask you. If you're going to make a statement like that, yeah, I'm going to ask you, well, what's wrong with it and what should I do? Well, that's when I'm accused of attacking people. Well, I don't understand that mentality. That's all I can tell you. And there's a way, if you have a suggestion, there's a way to do it. And I've told you all that before. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. This channel is all about fun. I done told y'all this before. So I'm going to go back to ignoring y'all. Unless you get really brazen and bold, then I'm not going to acknowledge you. I'll just block you. I have no trouble blocking you if you're that type of person. I think it'll be best for everybody. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get over here and work on the old Forte. I apologize for the noise from the heater, but I got to have it. It's cold. I think let's mount this seat. I think I got it about where I want it. The travel back and forth is pretty long. I got it set about middle way. That way shorter and taller people can drive it. It jacks up and down with a handle. I got it about halfway up. That way shorter and taller people can go up and down if they want to. Well, I measured from the brake pedal to the back of the seat. It's about where the S10 is. And it's about the same height as the S10 from the floor. Dash is a little higher than the S10. So this is going to be a little bit higher. But yeah, I think it's where I want it. I got some pipe over there I'm going to use for risers. These 2B4s have got it pretty level. No, this floor is not level. Well, let me just show you. Up here, well, you can see where they welded and, well, it's just a mess. But these 2B4s on the outside are sitting on this lip on the rocker panel. And that's got it pretty level. So I'm going to get my tape measure. I'm going to measure each one and cut it whatever it needs to be. Then we'll drill some holes and bolt them down. Well, I got my measurements wrote down. I'm just using this piece of pipe. I think it's old conduit. 2 inches, 1 3/4, 2 3/8, and 2. Let me get them cut real quick. All right, I got my measurements. Let me get it marked and punched real quick. I just made a random mark up here, and we'll be measuring from it. Well, I'll tell you what, that's pretty thin. I think I might try to get some metal plate put on the bottom. All right, got that one drilled. I'm gonna set the seat in. I know where I want it here, but I don't know this measurement. We're just gonna put a bolt in here and then We'll mark that hole. Get in here. Let me go get my bolt. Perfectamundo. Oh, I gotta get up. Well, I'm just gonna get in here. Get this one. Alright. Now comes the fun part of trying to get everything on top of them spacers. That should be really, really fun. Ta-da! Alright, this is how it feels. Pretty easy getting in. That ain't bad. It's a little bit high, but ain't nothing I can do about it. Let me see, I'm a little too far away. About right there, probably. That ain't bad. That steering wheel, yeah, we're gonna have to do something about that eventually. It needs to be on down. It needs to be tilt. Yeah, we'll have to work on that eventually. It's a wee bit close to the door. My arm's hitting it, but if I go any further, I'm gonna be getting on this hump. Well, I'll take it back. I can move over an inch. I might do that. Other than that, it ain't too bad. Let me show y'all something real quick though. Firstly, I used this pipe because it was quick and easy to cut, and I wanted to make sure my height was gonna be good and everything's gonna be level. It is. We need to go with something bigger, a bigger footprint, because this floor is really, really thin. So what we're gonna do about that, hopefully the metal store will be open tomorrow. We'll get us some like 4x4 1/4-inch thick plate. We'll put that at each bolt hole underneath. That'll strengthen each area up. Plus, if I get some wider tubing, that'll make the footprint bigger. Here, I think it'll be all right. Plus, you know, I said I felt like I was sitting on the door a little too much. Well, I got, right here's where the hump starts. I got probably an inch or so. I can move it in. So I think I'm going to do that right now and just see how it feels. Then I might go ahead and do the passenger side real quick. And I'm probably going to be done because my knee, I'm telling you, it ain't hurt me this bad in a long time. Ooh, it's hurting. Anyway, let me get this moved over. I'll be back and show y'all if it's any better or not. Well, I'm sitting in the seat where I think it's going to be. I drilled about 14,000 more holes. Felt like it was cocked a little bit this way. So I brought it back this way. I moved it over, I think, 1 7/8 inches. You can see where we're at now. On the transmission tunnel. I got a lot more room over here now. But new issue is my leg's probably going to be in the way of my shifter, so I'll probably have to make me a crook on it. And, well, this transmission tunnel is homemade. It's made out of 1/8 inch metal. You can see from here to here, and then from here to up there somewhere, they added that on. Well, I mean, look at that weld. It's not the best. My foot rests on part of the tunnel, the homemade tunnel, to get to the gas pedal. I feel like my brake is in the way, and then I want to rest my foot over here. Well, I can't get it past the clutch pedal. So I think both of them arms on the pedals, they need to be straight. We ain't gonna do that right now. This is something I'm thinking and pondering on whilst I sit here in my new seat. So that's something we got to address. Plus we got to have a brake light switch mount up there too. I'm going to attempt to do the passenger seat, but I'm telling you, my knee's pretty bad. I'm gonna see how far I can get. Either way, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Well, I thought I was gonna have to go to the metal store, but I rummaged through my scrap over here. I think I found enough to do what we want to do. I'm gonna use 2x2 square tubing for my risers, and then I'll have to weld a plate on top of each one because it's a little bit wider than the track. So, you know, you gotta have a plate for it to sit on. Drill a hole through that. This is what I'll cut those little plates out of, and the 4x4 plates. I think I got enough metal right here to do that. If not, I got a little more over there. So let's get to cutting metal and welding and drilling holes. Every time, the first time, it kicks the breaker. All right, every time, the second time, it kicks the breaker too. Well, I don't know what to do here. Ain't got a clue. Have I ever told y'all about MLS? Oh, well, that will conclude today's show here at this Knack Garage. See y'all tomorrow. Let me scoop this over a little closer to the plug. All right, did that help? Wait a minute. No, sir. Let me try it on a different circuit. I'm taking bets that this don't work either. Yay! There's one. I got 7 more to go. There is one benefit to it being 15 degrees and 4 inches of snow. You can throw your parts in the snow and cool them off real quick. I got 4 little locating pins I got to cut off because they're in the way. This one right here is giving me fits. It's right above the frame. I got about that much room between it and the frame, top of the frame. Then there's a little brace running right here. It's just, well, you can't hardly get to it. I can barely get a nut, much less a lock washer and this plate. So I just tacked my nut on just barely. And hopefully I can get that up in there and get her tightened up. Let me see what it'll do. Finally! Very goodly and solid. Y'all know what sucks? When you work 3 or 4 hours and you might get a couple of minutes of video. Yes, sir. Ode to the joys of YouTubing. Y'all look at this right here, though. Oh, yeah. We have not one but 2 seats in the old Forte now. That one over yonder, I don't know how it happened, but it's just a wee bit crooked, and it bothers me. I'll fix it eventually. Not today, though, I'm telling you. Walling around on the ground, it wears me out. There's one more thing I want to do before we call it a day on this week's video. I want to lower this front end back down 2 inches. It'll be 1-inch spacers. Right here they are. Been trying to figure out an easy and quick way to cut them in half. I ain't got one because you can't clamp them in the chop saw because they're too short. And if I try by hand, I'll cut them all crooked. So let's go to the lathe, and I'll use the parting tool and listen to it chatter, and we'll cut them in half. Got them cut down. There they are. I'm going to go stand in front of the heater because I cut it off if I'm not in here. I ain't leaving that running, burn my shop down. Anyway, I'm going to go stand in front of the heater. When it warms up in here just a little bit, we'll put them spacers in and see where we're at. But it's about 45 degrees in here now. Feels like summertime. Let's see where we're at before we change them out. We're at approximately 16 1/8, I'd say. All right, let me get them spacers on there. See how much we drop. Oh, the doo-da-day. All right. Let me get the other side done. We'll drop her down. She is down on the ground. Let's see what we got. We got approximately 14 1/2. So that is 1 5/8 that we dropped it. All right. Before I dropped it, I measured this. We had 4 inches. Now we got roughly 2 1/2 right there. I did a little bit of studying on shocks the other night because that's not something I normally buy. It said you wanted 2 to 2 1/2 inches of travel either way. That's down and up. We got 2 1/2. I think we're going to leave it right here and just try it. If we go to bottoming out on our suspension, well, we'll have to take the spacers back out. But, well, let's just get around here to the side and see what it looks like. That's mucho better. I can tell the roof line is a lot flatter. We're a little bit flatter down here. The only true way to know is put fenders on it, so let me put these fenders on it. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I can handle that. It'll look even better with running boards. It'll look even better with different wheels and tires. Yes, sir. What do we go? 5 1/2 in the front, 4 in the back. It's kind of odd you have to go more in the front. You usually have to go more in the back. You do what you got to do, fellas. This is hot rodding. Now let me say something before we end this video. I know some of y'all are concerned about the safety of what I did up here in the front. I'm assuming you're talking about those long bolts, and I done discussed how there's no side load on them at all. But I want you to ponder on something. U-bolts back here, they are as long as the long bolts I had up here. Well, these U-bolts here are twice as long because we got those 4-inch lowering blocks. But forget them, just a regular U-bolt. They're at least as long as the longest bolts I had up here. They have to withstand side load. Yes, sir, they sure do. Also, all the power that propels this vehicle, it goes through those U-bolts and then ultimately through that one little pin right there in the front of that leaf spring. I think we'll probably be all right up here. Yep, I sure do. One more thing, let me show you the ground clearance that we got now. I got a 2x4 on its edge. It'll almost go under there. We probably got 3 inches. There it is laying flat. We probably got, yep, about 3 inches. I think I'll be just fine and dandly. We got a little bit of knick-knack bullcrap done in the last few days. Still got a lot more to do. We'll get it back on the road in the next couple of years, maybe. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.